would you comment on the constitutional basis or lack thereof in taking the country to war, which has been undeclared in most cases since the end of World War II, or also the constitutional basis in confronting global terrorism as we speak? And was the Gulf of Tonkin resolution the constitutional equivalent of a declaration of war?
I think the kind of storyline you hear traditionally, I'm sure Gary Wills talked about, is 1950 is the turning point with Korea and moving away from the World War I and World War II pattern of asking Congress for a declaration of war. Clearly it's hard to argue that that happened. I mean, we now have presidents deploying troops and conducting many operations through the executive branch in total secrecy. And I do think, for most constitutional scholars, it raises questions about a diminished role for Congress that was clearly the intent of the framers. That said, I think that argument sometimes downplays, again, as I try to capture in this example, the conscious decisions parties make, even without a declaration of war. Again, the Gulf of Tonkin is interesting because it's not as if Democrats were kind of swept up by the domino theory and blindly give President Johnson this declaration of war or authority for war. He takes us into Vietnam. It's very clear through the public record, through the private record, many Democrats were aware of the risks of this. They were making decisions for their party. They were making strategic decisions about allowing the president to do this. That is an act of Congress. I think with Iraq, the recent Iraq resolution under President Bush, it was the same thing. I mean, one argument is Congress rolled over to President Bush once again, gave him this authority. Another is both Republicans and certain Democrats made the decision to go along with the resolution, not with a declaration of war, but not to do anything about it at the time. For political calculations, for strategic calculations, that's a Democratic choice. That's a congressional choice too. And I think we can't downplay that too much. Clearly, though, relying on a declaration of war raises the bar, and it would create more limits on deploying troops and conducting some of these secret operations. But the danger is forgetting that parties were making these decisions consciously.